Hi everyone, it's your boy Darth with my special friend Zealotjohn, and we're doing more tier lists. This time we're doing Robot Masters from Megaman, and I'm looking on this list, and I'm realizing that I know Mega Man. I've seen plenty of playthroughs of Mega Man, but I myself have never played Mega Man. I'm unfamiliar with a lot of this stuff. So, yeah, that's kind of par for the course of these tier lists, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna jump head first into this and grab your liquid death. In my case, I got cherry obituary here. Ooh, that's good. And we'll just get started. So, Proto Man, if I remember correctly, he's basically the Zero equivalent, right? If I remember correctly,
Uh,
from because I'm more familiar with Mega Man X, but
I mean,
I could just be talking out of my ass.
technically Zero would be a robot master.
Yeah.
Dr. Wily actually made Zero.
Okay. So, but Proto Man. So what does Proto Man do?
He was actually, well, as the name implies, he's actually the prototype of basically all the robots. He was the first one in a joint effort made by Wily and Dr. Light.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and pretty much due to reasons, he ran off. Light thought he exploded or something, and yeah, it was a whole emotional confusion circumstance on Proto Man's part.
Okay.
Because when he finally came back, he saw rock and roll and thought that he just was replaced. And then
Right,
just
right, right.
remained in hiding.
And for those who don't know, Rock is also known as Mega Man, right?
Yep. And
Yeah.
Proto Man is
So.
known as Blues.
Okay. Ha! Rock and roll blues. I get it. You're clever. You're clever there, Capcom. But like, what are his powers and stuff?
He's essentially just like Mega Man. He just has a shield with him.
Okay, so he's kind of a little bit. So does that mean that we put Mega Man? Because obviously we're gonna put him in the same tier. If their abilities are kind of the same. Ooh, that's really formatted nicely with the seamless like background drop.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, we're just admiring the tier list. Whoever made this went above and beyond.
Yeah, I'll credit in the
Um,
comment in the video.
for sure. Um, so obviously we're gonna put them in the same tier. That's kind of a given. Um, obviously because of the fact that Proto Man has a shield, I think he's gonna be just a wee bit higher. Um, just because a shield is always nice.
Well, here's also
Um,
another thing. Proto
okay.
Man is also has an unstable core, so he could just give out at any moment.
Ooh, okay. So that's definitely gonna detract a little bit,
And if you want to
kind of
go
give it that
off,
rogue element.
and if you want to go off gameplay, Proto Man deals more damage but takes more damage.
Okay, that makes sense. Um, but he has the same abilities, i.e., he can collect all these powers just like Mega Man, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And also,
Um,
if you want to go into more detail, he also has a charge shot even in games where Mega Man does not.
okay. So, so I think honestly, just by virtue of Mega Man being able to collect all these powers, I mean, that's S tier, right? He's unparalleled in terms of versatility. Sure, he has to defeat them first, but like,
Unless you go off the Ruby Spears cartoon,
which one is that? Is that the anime or is that the American cartoon?
the American cartoon.
Eh, hmm. I don't know. Do we consider that canon?
No, it's just a fun thing.
Fair enough. So
Side
yeah.
note: Japan just found out about the Ruby Spears cartoon like a few weeks ago, and they've been loving it.
Of course they have. Um, I think on that note, we just put Proto Man and Mega Man up in S tier because they're essentially the same. They have access to all of these powers, with the only caveat having to defeat the Robot Master in question. Yeah, I think that's the only tier we can put them in. Um, roll.
Yep, their sister.
So
And,
what are her abilities?
housekeeping.
Are you serious?
I mean, to be fair, making rock and roll were originally made just to be helper robots around the lab.
Okay.
But then, because of Wily, Mega Man took it upon himself to become a combat robot in order to protect the innocent.
Okay.
But yeah,
But she
so
literally has no powers.
pretty much, yeah.
Damn. I get it. Mega Man came out in what, the 80s or 90s? Something like that.
Late
So I get it.
80s.
Yeah, late 80s, so I get it. Doesn't mean I'm not disappointed,
I
but I
mean,
get it.
there is one game where she is a playable character, and she does, in her story mode, she does win, but that's because you're playing her.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, but if she doesn't really have any powers, then we're just gonna put her in E tier, I think.
Okay.
Just to be fair for the sake of this, because I think that's what we're judging this on, right? We never really talked about what we're judging all this on.
No, we
Um,
didn't.
you know what? I'll put her up D tier just because I like the pun rock and roll.
Alright.
She gets a little bit of credit because of that. Um, Cutman. He tosses around a boomerang-shaped projectile that cuts, right?
Yep, and he was designed to work in lumber.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
Because all the Mega Man 1 Robot Masters are also Dr. Light robots.
Right. Okay. Um. Then let's see. He works in lumber. He's Cutman. Still kind of limited, in my opinion. Like, is there any notations about like what his blades are made out of or anything like that? Like, are they made out of any special material or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of, they're just made for use in the lumber industry, just to help people cut down trees.
Okay. Um, I'd put that in C tier, just kind of middling. It obviously has some use because it's in the game. It's not like it's a completely useless
Yeah.
power,
Oh yeah,
but
fun. Oh yeah, also fun fact: the Mega Man 1 Robot Masters and the PSP game Powered Up are all playable characters.
oh no shit.
Yep.
Hmm, cool. All right, Guts Man.
Pretty much big beefy boy, made to work in the construction industry and move heavy equipment.
Okay, so super strength. Um, Now I forget. Do all of the Robot Masters have the same amount of health, or are there any differentiations between them?
They all have the same amount of health. It's just the matter of how much damage they take from what weapons.
Okay. Which, because of the versatility, is just a matter of finding the right weapon. Okay.
Correct.
Um, yeah, I'd say B tier then, slightly above Cutman because I think just extra strong just has a little bit more versatility than I toss a boomerang blade.
Yeah.
So, all right, Iceman.
Uh, yeah, I'm not sure how the ice powers came to be, but he was made for, lore wise, was made for expeditions to Antarctic areas.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yes, it is.
Well, the design's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um, Lore-wise, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But what exactly are his ice powers?
He somehow shoots ice can freeze things with his breath.
Hmm. Um. I mean, elemental powers always have a lot of versatility and utility to them, so I'd say maybe A
Okay, yeah, it's just a matter of
for that.
creativity.
Yeah. Bomb Man. That's very straightforward.
Yep. And was also made to work in construction slash demolition.
Okay, so being able to toss bombs. I mean, it's the same thing with Cutman, right? Like, obviously being able to toss around, a blade boomerang is useful. Being able to toss, because I'm assuming he just tosses bombs. Like, there's nothing special
Yeah,
about like the projectile or anything like that.
pretty much. He's also like resistant to explosives since he's handling them regularly, just as a safety
Okay.
measure for himself.
Okay. So, kind of on the higher end of C tier. I just think that's useful. But, like, it's not as versatile as, say, like, super strength. Because, like, like, you can't save someone with bombs. I mean, Demo Man would just say you're not trying hard enough, but
Yeah.
anyway, that's kind of my logic with it. As flawed as it might be. Fireman.
Yep. Pretty much flamethrowers and was made to work in like metal smithing or
Okay.
purific. Pretty much help making metal and metal products.
Okay. That could have some utility to it, being able to, burn through doors and all that stuff, being able to handle metal, obviously.
Yep.
Um, I could see that. I could see that being on the high end of A. Elecman.
Yep.
Electricity.
Yep. Work on electric powers and made to work in the electric industry.
Okay. Um, I mean, obviously, I think it's higher than the fire guy, just because, especially in today's, technocentric, universe, being able to manipulate and handle electricity is a godsend.
Yep.
Like, you could power up an entire, city that has no power, or do things like that. So,
Yeah.
because these powers could be using for good, we don't know. We never again specified what we're rating this on, so I'm just kind of going off of a general vibe. Um, Time Man. You do not look like a man. You look like a young child.
Yeah, he's from the powered up games. That's what they all kind of look like in those games. So
Okay.
he's like sorting. So him and Oilman are kind of non-canon, depending on which timeline you want to look at.
Okay.
Time Man was made for experiments in time travel,
Okay.
and as far as they got, he was able to slow down time.
Okay, but he's not really. Is he able to move like differently through time, or does he just slow down everything?
He moves differently in time when slow down, so slow everything down to his perception.
Okay. I mean, obviously that's an S tiered ability because when you like, it's that's what's unfair about time manipulation, right? It's one of those abilities that more often than not, even if it's done in a basic sense, as long as it's done correctly, it's almost always going to be S tier, unless it has some stupid like, caveat like you got to hold your breath or some shit like that, like they did in Dragon Ball Z,
And
right?
even in Dragon Ball Z, that's still an insanely strong power.
Right, exactly. Um, so yeah, I mean S tier because he can manipulate time. He can move normally through time, or he can move differently through the time distortion than you can. So it's like, why wouldn't that be S tier?
Yep.
You know. Oil Man.
He shoots oil. Literally was made to work on machinery.
Oh, so it's not even like car oil. It's like greasing oil.
Yeah.
Oh God. Is it flammable at least?
Yes.
Okay.
And like one
So if
method
you're
he uses that is all like spray on the ground, you can like slide on it like it's ice indefinitely.
okay. So it has a little bit of utility to it,
Yeah.
but it's very niche. Like it's very niche, and it has to be used like creatively. I mean, like, because even with like Cutman and Bomb Man, like being able to toss bombs is just great. Like, having a bomb at any time you need one. You never know when you need a bomb. But, like, what are the odds that you need, like, mechanics oil? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my logic.
All right, and now we're on to the Dr. Wily robots.
Alright.
So, Metal Man,
Looks like he's tossing saw blades?
pretty much.
Okay.
Design was actually based on Cutman, and pretty much the
Okay.
Mega Man 2 Robot Masters are all designed on killing Mega Man. So that's their sole purpose.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
and pretty much he tried to make these enhanced combat robots. So these blades are specifically designed to harm robots.
Okay. So a little bit higher up, I think, on C tier. It's still just not as like versatile as Super Strength, for example.
Yeah. Gameplay
Um,
wise, it is still like one of the strongest Mega Man weapons you ever get in the franchise.
which one?
Metal Man.
Really?
Yeah, shooting in 8 different directions, basically up, down, left, right, and the 4 diagonals. Ammunition costs like nothing out of your power bar. And
Okay.
like 3 or 4 of the Robot Masters are weak to it, including Metal Man himself for some reason.
Okay.
Like, it was just overpowered in the gameplay.
I get you. Yeah, definitely high C tier then, for sure. All right. Airman.
Uh, Pretty much vacuum suction and blowing. He's able to manipulate the air with his fans enough to make little tornadoes.
Okay. Hmm. I don't know. Like, see, this one's tough. Because on the one hand, it kind of follows the rule of elemental logic, like with air and stuff like that. But on the other hand, it doesn't seem all that powerful with how you're describing it.
Yeah, it is definitely a weird case.
Um, I don't know. Maybe we just put it kind of on the bottom of B. I don't know what to do with that. It's so weird. Like if he could like make full on tornadoes and stuff, that would be one thing, right? That would be A tier for sure. But like if it's only like projectile tornadoes, hmm.
Yeah, it is only projectile tornadoes, and he is actively able to push basically everyone around with just the air propulsion alone, too.
Okay. We'll leave him on high B tier for the time being. I think. I don't know. It's just tough because
Yeah.
on the one hand, it is kind of a low tiered ability, but again, on the other hand, it is kind of a high tier ability. So we'll leave it in B tier for now. Double Man.
Bubble Man.
Oh, Bubble Man. I'm just blind. Okay, Bubble Man. He makes bubbles.
Yep, he's. They're actually bubbles made of lead.
What?
Yep, lead bubbles.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So like, is he just filled up with lead paint or what?
We don't know, but another thing about him is he's got a buoyancy issue.
Well, yeah, he's got lead bubbles.
No, like, he's not able to sink properly, so he just floats around underwater when you fight him. And the bubbles actually
Really?
bounce around.
That's crazy. Yes, John, there are in fact this many Mega Man bosses. These are the original Mega Man bosses, right? Not the um oh, what is it? Not the Mega Man X ones, right?
Yeah, this is just the classic series. Not X, not Zero, not ZX.
That's wild. Bubble Man. I don't know, like lead bubbles, like when you say it out loud, it doesn't seem that useful. You know what I mean? Like What practical purpose do lead bubbles serve? Particularly when they potentially give you a buoyancy issue, right?
Yeah, it is nuts.
Like that's kind of my logic with it, and so that's why he's on the low end of D tier for me. So, all right, Quick Man. This seems pretty straightforward. I'm assuming he's a speedster.
Yeah, he actually throws boomerangs as his weaponry,
Okay.
and his speed is actually from time manipulation, where rather than slowing everything else down, it speeds him up.
Okay. So it's like Time Man's abilities, but not as extreme. Okay. So he speeds himself up rather than slow everything else down. Okay. So I would put that. Oh, where would I put that? Because if you're speeding yourself up, honestly, that could be the bottom of A tier in my opinion. Because there's a lot of potential with that.
Oh
Like
yeah,
if you need to speed up your heart rate or do anything like that.
I mean the robot, so there's no heart rate.
Oh, true. Very true. Um, yeah, no, I'd say bottom of A tier for that one. So, Crash Man.
He so pretty much he's supposed to be the upgraded version of Bomb Man, where those drills on his hands are launchable and basically drill into whatever they land in and then blow up.
Okay, now see, this is a logical progression of the power, right? Bomb Man was C tier, kind of not useful. Having exploding drill bits, that has some potential. Not only are they drills, they also explode. You get 2 for 1. I like it. That's a very, very solid combo. Um, I think B tier. I think B tier at the bottom is right where that person belongs because it's a bit of a step up, but it's not like a crazy step up like going to A tier or S tier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all right, Flashman.
Okay. So using the same design concept as Quick Man, using time manipulation, only this time actually freezing everything around him.
Okay. Now, question: can he move through this, or what are kind of some of the caveats with this freezing of time?
Like, it only lasts for a short bit. He's able to move in it. And the weird caveat is that Quickman and Flashman's time manipulation clash with each other. So if Flashman uses his around Quickman, it causes Quickman to rapidly deteriorate.
Oh shit. Okay. Interesting.
So they generally are against each other.
Okay. But still, that falls under the rules of time manipulation bullshit, where he's able to slow down everything, and even when there are caveats, it's still kind of an OP ability. So S tier. Yeah. All right, Heat Man. That man looks like a lighter.
Yeah, he is actually designed after a Zippo lighter.
Okay.
And pretty much fire powers, with being able to actually emit fire from anywhere on his body rather than just his hands.
Okay. So step up from Fireman. Okay.
And if it considers anything more potent, he's able to launch himself as a fiery bolt as well.
Ooh. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'd say just above Fireman because it's basically the same powers with a few extra upgrades. It's not a major drastic change like Crashman from Bombman, so yeah. Woodman.
Uh, Not sure where the logic came from this one, but he uses leaves as a shield and projectiles. And yet the leaves are strong enough to reflect nearly every projectile.
What?
Yeah, like there is no projectile in Mega Man 2 that goes through those leaves.
That's wild.
Even like a fully charged heat blast gets bounced off of that thing.
That's weird. But it's a purely defensive ability. There's no real offensive capability to it.
Oh, you can launch the shield at his target.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I would say C tier simply by virtue of the fact that they do have the ability to block anything, because beyond that, you're just tossing leaves at someone. Like, like kids in the middle of fall can do about as much damage as this person could do in theory.
Well, think about it this way. If these leaves are able to block the metal blades from Metal Man, and then he's
Right.
throwing a shield of this that's bigger than his own body, how much damage that would do.
Hmm. That's true. Um. Fuck. And there's no projectile in the second game that can get through those leaves, right? Not a single one.
Like, the only thing that could get through it, and this would even be a trick shot in the game, is throwing the crash bomb behind him and having it blow up while the shield's active.
I mean, that's kind of S tier then. Like, if nothing can get through it, that's an impenetrable defense. You can't argue with an impenetrable defense. So, yeah, S tier. But I would say bottom of S tier because at the end of the day, it's still fucking leaves. Like, I don't know. There's got to be a caveat that I'm missing with that. But yeah, Woodman's S tier. Needleman.
Yep.
Needle.
Yep, now we're at the start of Mega Man 3.
All right.
He shoots needles.
Okay. That's it.
Yep.
They don't do anything.
Yep, they're just really sharp needles. Because the backstory for Mega Man 3 is that while he'd been jailed, he repented, and now him and Light teamed up to explore outer space, and these sets of Robot Masters were designed to help construct a giant robot for space exploration. But in secret, were made for combat. By Dr. Wily.
Of course. I mean, if it's just that these needles are really, really sharp, I mean, a well-trained surgeon can do the same exact fucking thing.
Think of it like a giant nail gun.
Even then, it's not as powerful as Nail Gun Man, because at least with Nail Gun Man, you have the pressure of the nail gun. I mean, a nail gun can fuck you up if you're not careful.
I mean, these nails were designed to help put a giant robot together, so giant robot nail gun.
Oh, true. I mean, shit, when you put it like that. You know what, we'll put it above Oil Man, because at least there's a little bit of utility with being able to be a giant nail gun.
Yeah.
Alright. Magnet Man.
He shoots magnets.
Okay.
I mean, they explode on impact, but he shoots magnets. And because they're magnets, they seek to robots.
Which is very niche in real world combat. Like, I don't know, like, it's kind of below, in my opinion, just because we're not made of metal, so the magnetization would be useless against us. But a nail gun is still a nail gun,
Yeah.
so that's kind of my logic for the placement here. I could be completely out of pocket with that, and I'm sure someone is going to let me know in the comments when this gets posted. But Yeah, we'll just leave him there for now. Gemini Man.
He's able to split into two, and they both have a laser that in gameplay is a slow moving but bounces off the wall laser.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, by virtue, it's a 2v1 fight at least. Because they do actually have separate health.
Okay. Interesting.
But
Okay.
beyond that, the slow moving laser that bounces off the walls and ceiling is kind of weird.
Um. Yeah, I mean, do we go C tier or B tier for this one? That's the question. Because, like, being able to duplicate yourself obviously has far more utility than Nail Gun and Magnet Man. Um, but does it have as much utility as these three? I'm kind of inclined to put it at the top of C tier here. I think.
Okay.
That would be my indication. We got Hard Man.
He's a heavy, hard boy that can rocket punch.
That's it.
I mean, like, he can jump high for some reason, and when he lands, it causes a small earthquake, kind of. Like, it's enough to cause people to be stunned if they're on the ground when he lands.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah, just rocket punch.
Hmm.
And it's a rocket punch that can break through walls.
Okay. You know what? By sheer virtue of Rocket Punch, I would say bottom of B tier, because rocket punching is always cool. Doesn't matter the medium. I'll die on that hill. Top Man.
He spin.
That's all he does, is he just spins.
Yes. I mean, he can shoot tops, but his primary method of combat is spinning.
Yeah, that's an E tier from me, dog.
And just as a side note, the weapon you get from him is the ability to just twirl in the air.
That just sounds underwhelming in my opinion.
It is a terrible ability that they make you use.
Alright. Snake Man.
He shoots robot snakes that chase you down.
Now see, that has utility. That's basically the equivalent of pocket sand, but with snakes. Alright? I could see that ability being put to some use. Sure, it's kind of niche when you think about it, but at the same time, bottom of B tier. Because pocket snake.
Yep.
Barkman.
Electricity generation.
Can he control the electricity?
I mean, generally, yeah. I mean, it's
Okay.
essentially just electricity again.
Okay. So it sounds like he's Elect Man, but not?
Like, he was made to essentially be the power source of the giant robot.
Okay.
I mean, think about it this way. He is a robot with a power source, but the robot's designed to amplify that power for an even bigger robot.
Okay. I don't even know. Like, because he's basically a battery. That's his power, is basically being a battery. If you simplify it, but at the same time...
He's able to output that power, so therefore he's able to just shoot it out.
Yeah. I would say B. Maybe middle B, because while impressive, it's not as impressive as being able to control it like a Lekman.
Yeah, it's pretty much you're giving up control for more output.
Yeah. Which, while nice, can be a bit of a disadvantage at times. So,
Yep.
Shadow Man. This
The
man's a ninja.
Yeah, the weird one.
This man's a ninja down to the blue garb,
Now here's the part that's weird.
right?
We have no idea who made this robot.
What?
Like, Wiley just found him in outer space and just reactivated him and just made him a ninja.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
Well, weird origins aside, I think that honestly C tier. Well, yeah, C tier because he's a ninja. He's an accurate ninja. As crazy as that sounds, he is a very accurate ninja in terms of his garb and the way that his weapon works, to my knowledge. But yeah, once you get past that, there's not much.
Yeah.
So, bottom of C tier. All right,
And now
Bright Man.
Now we're on Mega Man 4, the Crossack numbers. So these ones were not made by Dr. Wily or Light. These are made by Crossack, which Dr. Wily kidnapped his daughter and blackmailed him to attack Mega Man with his robots.
Okay.
So a majority of these were designed for actually making the world a better place. Bright Man's
Okay.
case, emitting light for search and rescue operations.
Okay.
That's his primary function.
He's just a flashlight.
A very mobile flashlight.
Let's see. I'm very tempted to put him in E tier, but at the same time, a flashlight has more use than a top.
I mean, if you want it to be even more, he's able to like emit such a bright light that it's very blinding. Like even if you're looking away from him.
Right,
Like
right.
essentially you have solar flare that he can just rapidly go off if you wanted.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'd say D tier. Bottom of D tier. Code Man.
The ability to make it rain.
That could actually be pretty useful.
Yeah, like he was primarily made to essentially bring water to impoverished and drought-ridden areas.
Right, right, right.
And when Dr. Wily threatened, made it so that he's able to make it rain acid.
Oh. Interesting. Okay. So being able to rain acid. I mean, that's just kind of cool, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd say we put him next to Snake Man. That is just me, though. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, next to Snake Man. That's reasonable.
Alright.
Because being able to make acid rain is AoE damage. I'm assuming he can switch between the acid rain and the regular rain.
We I think after the events of Mega Man 4, they just took the acid rain away from him, so because again,
Okay.
he was blackmailed into it.
Right, right. Okay. All right. Drill Man.
He drills. Like made for drilling, excavation, just drill.
Okay. Still, I would say a little bit more useful than being a flashlight. Actually, let me rework this a little bit. Let's put him up there. Put you, I'd say here. Yeah, that works better. So yeah, we'll put him right below roll because I still love that pun. Because who needs consistency in a list, right, guys? Consistency is for nerds. But yeah, near top of D tier. Sounds good to me. What the fuck is this name? Pharaoh Man.
Pharaoh Man. Originally designed to go through Egyptian ruins and combat the curses within them.
Oh, god damn it. I am very much reminded that this was a game released in the 80s and 90s.
And in turn was able to weaponize those curses himself.
Shit, he's able to weaponize curses?
Yep.
That's some S tier shit right there.
And if you want even more fun facts about it, he's also the only one who didn't bitch out against Mega Man in the Ruby Spears cartoon as soon as his power got taken.
Right.
You know the famous scene?
I try to block out a lot of that stuff that I know, so I might have seen it, but...
Because, like, almost every other one is like, when Mega Man gets a hold of their arm, he's able to copy the powers. Like, I got your powers now. Oh no, and they'll run away. For Pharaoh Man, he just walks out of his base. Mega Man jumps out of a wall, gets the power. No, I've got your power. Pharaoh Man just immediately punches him in the face.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I'd say S tier. Because weaponizing curses, because the thing is that if there are curses in ancient pyramids, they are death curses, which are incredibly potent and incredibly fucking powerful bad mojo that you do not fuck with. Yeah. So if this man is able to weaponize that, that is incredibly dark magic.
And on top of that, you have a robot that is doing that.
Exactly. That is some bullshit. Ringman.
He has rings. He's a police officer.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much they're basically size adjustable rings that he can bind people with.
Okay. That actually... Now see, that actually could have a lot of combat applications. Like... Because the way that he's holding them, they could be turned, if they're size changing, they could be turned into weapons, they can be used to bind people, they could be used as projectiles. Like, there's a lot of capabilities there, so definitely bottom A tier. For me. Like, I don't know, that's just kind of my thought on it. Also, I've been looking through this list, and I just think it's hilarious that we have all of these names that are man, woman, man. I love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love Capcom in the 80s and 90s. Dustman.
He's a garbage compactor.
More useful than these three.
And he's able to eject those compact garbage bricks out from that vent on his head.
Okay, that makes sense. Like, I don't know, am I crazy for saying that he's more useful than these three? These four, technically?
I mean, it depends on how good you find shoving something in there and crushing it.
I mean, compacting trash is useful. But, like, launching magnets doesn't really have a lot of combat capability. Like, okay, hang on. Let me reorganize. Yeah, okay. This makes sense. I'm good with this order.
I like how D tier is the only one you have an issue with the order so far.
Huh?
D tier is the only one you've ever had an issue with so far with the order.
Yeah. I mean, it's... Because the thing that you got to keep in mind, the thing that I'm trying to keep an open mind about, is that these are all power-ups in a video game, right?
Yeah.
To some degree, they are going to be useful because the video game is built around these mechanics, right?
Right.
So, to some degree, there's going to be use. The only one that I've absolutely never seen a fucking use for is the ability to fucking spin. Like, I could take a ballet class and get about as much utility out of that as Top Man does out of his ability. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it is the worst weapon in the franchise. It gives you no invulnerability. You have to be like right next to them to hit them, and you have to do it while jumping.
So I am completely justified in my ranking of that.
Oh yeah, no,
Um,
no, that was awful.
but like, even the ability to have lead bubbles, like, arguably not the best example to go with. Also, arguably not the best example to go with. But Oil Man, like, being able to make oil slicks is still useful. Like, there's a reason that consistently James Bond always has oil slicks on his car. You know what I mean? There's a reason that being able to compact trash is useful. There's a reason that a flashlight is useful. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm trying to keep an open mind about this, just because I don't want it to necessarily be, oh, this is a shit ability. Like, no, realistically, you could use that, you know, especially if it's in lore designed for search and rescue, you know, being able to have a bright light is fucking useful. So,
Yeah,
that's
especially
kind of
when
my...
you can't drop and panic.
Right, so that's kind of my whole thing with it, you know what I mean? So, alright. Dive Man.
He was made for deep sea exploration.
This man is a submarine,
Yep.
and he has torpedoes.
Yes, he does.
That is exceptionally useful. Come on. Come on. And I would argue that that's more useful than electricity exploration, because we have only explored, like, 25% of our oceans. Imagine being able to not only dive that deep, but be weaponized. I could dive down that deep knowing that I'm safe, because the ocean is nothing but nightmare fuel, and you can't convince me otherwise. Just, yes, please. Please protect me, Dive Man. The ocean is where all the nightmare fuel is. Can you tell I have very slight thalassophobia, kids? Very slight? Oh, on a weird tangent. I still don't know how I done this, but do you know the game Subnautica?
Oh yeah.
I beat that game with thalassophobia. Can you imagine that shit?
No.
I was not having a good time. Was not having a good time. But I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna beat this game, and so I did. Anyway. Skullman.
Combat robot, able to make a barrier out of skulls and shoot bones as projectiles. Was made purely for combat against Mega Man out of part of the blackmail.
How does the shield rate against Woodman's?
Weaker, as it actually can only absorb like X amount of projectiles before it breaks. Versus Woodman's,
Okay.
which can last indefinitely until launched.
Right. I gotta put him A tier because I love the aesthetics. Like, if his ability had the same durability as Plant Man or Woodman, absolutely higher. But like, because it has a set amount of time, I gotta put it at the bottom of A tier on aesthetics alone. You know? But it's got that util, it's got the aesthetics. Like, just what's not to like about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just me on that. Gravity Man.
And now we're on Mega Man 5.
Jesus, we're just blasting right along with these games. How many Mega Man games were there in the 80s and 90s?
Well, there's also because there's 12 in the main line, and then there's the Game Boy games,
Yay.
and also the MS DOS game.
Wait, there were MS-DOS games? That's wild.
2 of them.
The only ones that I knew of besides the original Mega Man were the Super Nintendos, like the Mega Man X games.
Mega Man
so.
7 was on the Super Nintendo.
It was on the Super Nintendo?
Yeah, and so was Mega Man and Bass.
Oh, shit.
Mega Man 8 was on the PS1 and Dreamcast.
What? No.
And then Mega Man 9 and 10 were on the Wii. And
Dude, I must be very tired then because I could have sworn that all of these games that we're doing were all in the Super Nintendo. I'm tripping, man.
I mean, to be
Sorry.
fair, all the way up to 6 was on the NES.
Okay. So that I was
Like,
not
they were coming
wrong
out
on.
yearly
Okay.
at that point, and now we're, like, starved for Mega Man.
Yeah, I get you. Okay. Anyway, Gravity Man. Sorry, tangent over. Gravity Man.
He can control gravity in a small space.
Define a small space.
The room he is standing in.
Okay, that's still pretty decent.
And we're not talking about, like, intensifying gravity, he just shifts where gravity goes.
Still, being able to manipulate one of the core physical principles of the universe. That's not like the only reason that Woodman and Pharaoh Man are higher is because, again, and I cannot stress this enough, boys and girls, you do not fuck with death curses of all things. You can fuck with many types of magic, but death curses are not one of them, especially from ancient fucking Egypt. You just don't do that shit.
I should also note that the Robot Masters from this game were made entirely to make money.
Really?
Yes. Because Dr. Wily ran out of funds and ended up doing whatever he could to make some quick cash. So Gravity Man was actually sold off to basically to a planetarium or something. So he's literally made as a ride attraction essentially, and then Dr. Wily decided to try to be cheeky.
Oh, that's amazing. All right. But yeah, like I said, it boils down to being able to control one of the core principles of the universe. You know, it's one of those abilities that's again like time manipulation, where it's just OP because being able to manipulate gravity is being able to manipulate gravity. Wave Man.
The ability to control water and create waves. He was made to go to a water park and essentially control a wave pool.
Jesus, my man's a living wave pool. What the fuck?
He's also a lifeguard.
I mean, that boosts him up a little bit. I would honestly say above Heatman, but below Elecman. Or, I mean, help me out here. Would it make more sense to have him be just below Dive Man? Because Wave Man, it doesn't sound like can go into the deep water. He can manipulate water and he can create waves.
Yeah, he's not going that deep. He was made to work at a water park.
So at the same time, maybe not even that high, you know? If he was designed to work at a water park, like, I don't know, dude. Help me here.
I mean, the tridents he has are projectiles, but that's as far as it really goes.
Yeah, we'll put him at the bottom of A tier, just because. Again, it's elemental manipulation. It's gonna be a B tier at minimum, just because when you're manipulating again those kinds of forces, it's one of those things that unfortunately starts to get you up there, unless it's really stupid. Um, which while it is a water park, that's no small amount of water. You know, that's at the very least a very small lake, worth of water, which is no small chunk of change in the grand scheme of things. Or no, and not in the grand scheme of things, but when you compare it to, say, a human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway. Stone Man.
And the power of stone.
The fuck does that even mean?
I don't remember. Honestly, I completely forgot about Stone Man's existence.
Hey God. Let's see here.
I'm literally looking at the wiki right now trying to figure out what the fuck he does.
Hang on.
He's able to break apart and reconstruct his body like he's made out of building blocks.
Okay, so Lego powers?
And he's able to make stones circle around him and use them to break through things with sheer force. So essentially, he literally controls rocks.
Okay. Huh. But it sounds like he can only control them on his body. He can't, like, go out of his way to, say, control, like, a rock slide or something like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
And remember, he did made this as a money making venture.
Yeah, so these are probably not going to be all that high. So I'd say maybe top of C tier, just because he does have body manipulation. It does have some practical elements, and if you get hit with a rock, you getting hit with a rock. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Gyro Man.
He has a propeller, he can fly, and he can shoot other propellers as projectiles. And he was
Okay.
made to be a tour guide at a theme park.
Jesus. Okay. Um. I mean, he can fly, so he's obviously not E tier, because being able to fly is definitely in and of itself useful. Um, I could see flying being a bottom C tier ability. I don't know how effective helicopter propellers would be as projectiles, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, they could be sharp, but they're also really thin and really flimsy. So, like, if the armor is thick enough, they're not doing anything to it. So, okay. Starman.
Like, I'm double checking him right now on the wiki. Let's see here.
Are there any other? I'm looking here real quick. Are there any other lady characters besides literal Splash Woman? No, no, there are not. What the hell?
Yeah, she was made for Mega Man 9.
That's crazy.
I mean, expanded material, there's more girls, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mega Man 9. So this was after.
That was
Wow.
on the Wii.
What the fuck? It took them up until the Wii to get a lady boss. What the fuck?
Okay, to be fair, a lot of these Robot Masters were fan submissions by people. Because they actually had a
Oh.
contest where, for a lot of the earlier Mega Mans, where it's like, if we like your design, we'll actually make them a boss in the next Mega Man game.
Okay.
So, majority of these were made by Mega Man fans.
Okay. That's That
And,
still sucks, but I get it.
and you know how fans are. Once a trend's going, they'll tend to keep the trend going.
Yeah, even if it isn't a good trend to keep going. I get you. I get you.
Well, it's not even particularly a bad trend because technically robots don't have a gender and they're just being assigned.
That's true. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird to me personally.
Okay, so it looks like Starman just basically has star-based projectiles and was made to go to the same observatory as Gravity Man as an attraction.
But like, are these actual stars? Are these bullshit stars? Like,
Bullshit stars. They're made to look like stars.
okay, so they're not actual like bits of fucking star that are just being tossed willy nilly.
Nope.
Okay. Um, like, what do they do on impact?
Uh, I mean, Depending, like, for show, they'll just stick to the wall, but in combat, they're basically like projectiles that'll just burst on impact.
Okay, like,
I think this is also the oh, wait, no, it's not the barrier ability of the game. That's Crystal Man. I'm trying to remember Starman's weapon. Oh, he also has arrows that he shoots.
yeah, that's D tier, Chief. I'm sorry, but that's a D tier, Chief. All right, what Mega Man game are we on right now?
We are on 5.
Okay. All right. When is the last Mega Man? When's the last 6 boss?
For Mega Man 6,
That was
that would be
because that was the last one of the Super.
that would be Yamoto
Yep.
Man.
Uh,
Right before base,
okay.
which I always called Bass before.
Is he all about that bass? Okay. Yeah, Starman D tier. Not much else to be said about that. Charge Man.
He's a train.
All I can think of is the Thomas the Tank Engine rap now.
I mean, he literally is able to charge at someone with the strength and speed of a train.
Like that's still that's pretty powerful. Like I would say that that's above Stone Man, just because trains are pretty powerful. Trains can reach absurd speeds.
And just as the
And this
fun fact, he was sold to the theme park to pull one of those little toy train things that little kids ride.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
So he's able to pull that by just walking around normally because he's got that much power behind him.
Right. Napalm Man.
A lot of explosives.
Like an ass ton of explosives.
Yes, like literally his dream is to build a weapons museum and then blow it up.
Jesus.
Like, okay, like he's the one that was actually made for combat, and his whole goal was just to defend Wily's secret weapon stash.
Right.
So
Okay.
literally, those are napalm bombs. He actually is using napalm.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Yeah, I think that that's above Crash Man for sure. Um, I don't know. Like, is this a situation where maybe he's above Sparkman? Like his hands are missiles. Those things on his shoulders are missiles. I'm assuming that that big thing in the center of his head is a missile.
Those are not missiles. Those are
Those are
napalm
not missiles.
grenades.
Oh shit. Okay. So he's got diversified firepower. Okay.
Yep, like he doesn't have any missiles. They're all napalm grenades.
Jesus. Okay. Um, let's put him. Let's put him towards the bottom of B tier. Just because it's only grenades and not missiles. That is my logic. Crystal Man.
A robot that's able to create crystals. But on the down low, they're actually bootleg crystals that he's going in the back alleys and selling to people on the cheap just to try to make a quick buck.
Jesus. Okay. What can these crystals do?
He's able to use them as a barrier and block a few projectiles. Like it's
Okay.
the game barrier skill of the game.
Okay. Is the barrier particularly powerful?
Like after Woodman they kind of mellowed out, so they generally are along the same line.
Okay.
So it's a matter of aesthetic at that point.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. I'll say middle of B tier. Barriers are always useful, but I don't know. His aesthetic is just kind of off for me. Blizzard Man.
Mega Man 6. This is where we're starting. The world
Okay.
tournament where every nation in the world actually sends a robot in to fight in a world tournament to see which nation has the strongest robot. And then Dr. X shows up and takes control of all of them in order to take over the world.
Okay. Hence why we have Blizzard Man.
Fun fact, Dr. X is just wily in disguise.
Yeah, I should have known.
Yep. Okay, I'm just pulling them up just to see which country each one's from. Because, fun fact, this is the one game where people from all around the world were able to submit their Robot Master ideas. Because all before was just Japan.
That's cool.
Okay, so lore-wise, Blizzard Man's from Antarctica?
Huh. What are his abilities?
Creating blizzards, shooting giant snowballs. Essentially, snow manipulation or cold manipulation.
Okay. Since it's not quite ice manipulation, I'll say bottom of A tier.
But he is able to just create blizzards.
Which is very powerful. Because as someone who lived in the Midwest, you do not fuck with blizzards.
You do not.
Centaur Man.
Okay, which country is Centaur Man from?
I love how he's named Centaur Man because that's a bit of a contradiction because to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, in real historical mythology, I don't think that there's any centaur who hasn't been described as a man. I could be wrong on that. Because I know in modern media there are female centaurs because it obviously makes sense, and I'm of that mind. But, like, I don't know. It's like Horseman Man is essentially what this man's named, in my opinion. But I could be completely wrong on that. Feel free to correct me in the comments. Make sure to cite your sources, though.
Okay, looks like he was made for tours in old archaeological museums, but then got repurposed for the World Tournament combat as a publicity stunt. He has Centaur
Or which
arrow.
country?
Still looking, but so I'm just going through the lore that I got so far.
Okay.
So he has a bow and arrow that are specifically designed for him, and he is able to temporarily stop time and turn invisible?
Jesus. That's a bit of a stretch on the powers there.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find the country of origin. Okay, I'm getting some more information, but still nothing concrete. Let's see here.
But I am confirming that he can in fact manipulate time. Which, holy crap. There's a lot of robots that can manipulate time.
I mean, when you build one, you can just keep building more.
Yeah, still, that's kind of weird. Weird, bruh.
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't have an official country of origin for whatever reason.
That's weird.
But if we're going to say based on Centaur, I guess Greece, if we're just going to want to give him one.
Maybe. Someone in the YouTube comments who's smarter than us, find it out. Cite your sources. But yeah, based on the fact that he can manipulate time, he has a bow and arrow, and he's a freaking centaur. Like, duh, he is absolutely going to be beneath Mega Man and Proto Man, just because that's kick-ass. But yeah, enough said. Flame Man.
He shoots fire.
That's it?
Yeah, pretty much it.
Alright, while I'm debating on where to put him, What country of origin?
Oh, we just got pretty much somewhere in Asia, something maybe in the Middle East. Nothing concrete on him either. It's purely based on the turban. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Saudi Arabia.
okay. Cool. Um, since we don't really have a whole lot more information on his powers, I would say he's below Fireman.
No, he is just straight up shoots fire. That's his whole thing.
Okay. Cool. Nightman.
Do you really need me to say what his power is?
Could you say for the chat? He's the what? Say it.
He has a ball and mace. That's it. He just has a melee weapon and a shield. Like he's just a robot designed to whip a flail around, essentially.
Uh, what country of origin?
Double checking. Let's see. Here. Because I think he was actually designed by an American? Like, in IRL?
Right.
I'm just still double checking here. Let's see here. Yeah, they did not confirm for a Nightman.
Well then, I would say
I mean, pretty much it'd be like if we're going off of like general design somewhere in Europe, probably, unless you want to go off the IRL designer, which would be America.
okay. Um, I'd say just because he's a knight with a shield and a mace, C tier.
Okay.
All right, Plant Man.
Plant Man. He controls plants and flowers.
Okay.
And he's the shield character for the game.
Okay.
So he uses.
Still not as powerful as Woodman, I'm assuming.
Right. Let's see.
Like,
Do we have a country of origin?
while you're finding that, I don't know. I like the aesthetic, and I also like his ability to be able to control plants. I think that we're gonna put him right above Skullman.
Okay, South America.
Tracks. Oh, goody. This design. I love it. Tomahawk Man.
Tomahawk Man. He pretty much has a tomahawk, and he's able to essentially shoot out more tomahawks.
Okay. Um. Hmm. Let me think.
And while you think, I'm trying to pull up country of origin.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's not that much more impressive than Nightman, to be honest. I would say it's honestly a little bit higher up on that. And actually, on that note, I'm adjusting Shadow
Tomahawk
Man as
is
well.
from North America, the United States.
Okay, that
So
makes sense.
So he's the USA rep.
Gotcha. All right, Windman.
Uh, Pretty much Airman 2.0, only without the tornadoes.
That's it. I
Pretty
mean,
much.
bottom of
And
C tier then, because tornadoes were the only thing that were keeping airmen in B tier.
yep, and he's the Chinese rep.
Okay. And then we have Yamato Man.
Who is the Japanese rep?
That makes sense. What are their powers?
He has a spear that shoots energy projectiles from the tip.
God damn, this game is just going downhill.
I mean, if we want to be fair, these were made for like a tournament combat, which probably had rules in order to
Yeah,
prevent
yeah,
this
yeah.
very situation from happening.
Right. Still, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. But yeah, I think C tier above Shadow Man is where it belongs. All right. I think that's where we're gonna stop it because we're at Mega Man 6. We just cleared all of the NES games. Um, so I think what we'll do is next time we'll continue on with this list. And I think depending on the day we do it and the time we do it, we have an additional tier list to do, right?
Yep,
Hopefully we have.
we do have another tier list I have that has 27 items in it.
Very good.
Which
Sorry, please continue.
I mean, we could probably get just one more character in there because he's not exactly a robot master.
Okay.
He does show
Yeah.
up in Mega Man 7, and it's Bass or Bass, whatever, however you want to call it, because even in Mega Man 9 or 8, where they had voice acting, they called him Bass.
I'm going with bass just because it fits with rock and roll.
And then there's also his dog Treble.
That's right. He did have a dog, didn't he?
Yep, because
He had
Mega
a.
Man had Rush, Bass has Treble. Or
I
Bass has
love it.
Treble. And
All
Japanese
right.
name for bass is Forte.
That's still just even more musical. So
Yep.
fuck it. I'm going with my interpretation. So what are their powers?
He's essentially Wily's copy of Mega Man, being able to
Okay.
copy Robot Masters, and gameplay wise, rather than having a slide kick for the down jump action, he just dashes forward, has a mid air double jump, and can shoot in every direction. Lacks a charge shot, but in place has rapid fire.
Okay. So yeah, I would say.
And he was basically made to be Mega Man's rival as he has to prove he's the superior combatant.
Right. I get you. So yeah, I'd say S tier. Because if he has the ability to copy all of these masters, then there's no reason not to put him in S tier.
Yep.
Because we did it with the other two.
So it's just a matter of, for gameplay purposes, which one do you like more?
Exactly. All right. We covered quite a bit. I think that we're going to leave it there for that.